I was high most of my adult life. From the time I was 18 to about 38, I was high. Friends in campus who actually paid for my treatment in rehabilitation. There's a time I was so high I just slept on Uhuru Highway. My mom, she passed on when I was still high, but I could tell, I could feel the pain I was putting her through. The pain of addiction for me was too much. I couldn't take it one more day. And I didn't have any further options actually. For me, I think that was a chance that came once and it will never come again. Yeah. Getting into rehab.
And Asuba Oloshola, welcome to Nkaulele. I'm Nasha, your host kama kawaida. Today I'm visiting a friend at around Muigai. So he will introduce himself and then we get into it kama kawaida. So karibu sana.
Thank you. My name is Abdullahi. Okay. And I'm an addiction counselor in Muigai Estate.
Okay. Yeah. Abdullahi, I'm pronouncing it right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us what you do around this place.
For now, I run a rehab center for substance use disorder and other behavioral disorders. And ideally, I've been working in the field of addiction for the last 6 years for now. And at most times, I was a counselor. But at some level, I was also an addict, and I'm still in recovery as we speak.
Ebu, tell us the story behind starting a rehabilitation center.
The story behind starting the rehab center is as a result of what experiences I've had in life. It is as a result of my own encounters with addiction and the struggles that I've had with substance use. For a long time now, close to 20 years, I've been addicted. And as a result of my own experiences and through the pain I've undergone, I saw it fit that I'm now in a position to help others overcome addiction and substance use disorder. Yes.
Tuanzie, you're Kenyan first?
Yeah, yes, I'm Kenyan. Yes, I went to school in Nairobi for high school, but primary school I went to a school in Wajir.
Oh, which school is that?
High school.
Yeah, no, your primary school.
It's called Korofarar Primary School.
Okay. Yeah. So, ulilelewa Wajir?
Yes, I was raised in Wajir. I did my KCPE, passed and got a scholarship to join Starehe Boys Center.
You passed?
Yes.
You were doing out of 700?
700, yeah. 91, I got 520.
Oh, nice. So you went to Starehe?
I went to Starehe.
All right.
Yeah.
How was life in high school?
Life in high school was very well structured with all the supports that was needed. So what that meant was that I was covered from the realities of life. I was also given a lot of independence in terms of my academic work and all that. And by the end of the 4-year period, I did my examinations, qualified for university, joined university in 97. And went to do a course in economics at the University of Nairobi. But that is when actually I started using substances in an over. I started over consuming alcohol, miraa, and bang. Yeah. And also for almost 20 years I've been smoking cigarettes. Okay. But I no longer smoke now. Yeah, I'm clean from all substances, any mood-altering substance. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so University of Nairobi is where it all started.
It started. You feel complete high school, then you have 2 years to wait before you join university. Yes. The gap for 2 years, that is when I kind of got the freedom. I got access to money, and that is when I also found access to substances. Initially, it was because it was seen I was a responsible person. So, like, you are a grown man now, you can do some small things to be part of the men group. So eating miraa was now like I was allowed to eat miraa with my friends.
After Form 4.
Just after Form 4. Yeah. From there now I saw that it wasn't giving me that kick. Yeah. So I kept on pushing for some more. I started smoking weed. Okay. I realized that the weed was not also giving me the right kick, so I started drinking alcohol and eating miraa plus sleeping pills. So
like you mix them together?
Yes, miraa with sleeping pills. So ideally I was what I now call a polydrug user, because I was not only using one substance, I was using a number of substances to either Initially, it started as fun. I will take to fit in groupings. I'll take to be the hype of the party.
Yeah.
I'll also take it to be accepted by my friends, you know.
Yeah.
And it turned out that I saw that even the friends we went to, most of my classmates went to the same university. About 100 or so went to the same campus.
Oh, from Starehe?
From Starehe, we went to the same campus, about 100. So ideally, most of my friends realized that I had issues with the substance, because at most times I will be broke, asking for help, money and all that. And at the end of the day, they realized that this girl was having issues with substances. For some time, I will do the exams. Sometimes I didn't miss exams up to the third year. But it happened that also even that was a problem, because I was not able to attend classes. I'll do exams and pass, but the thing was I was half in school, half
Out.
absent.
Yeah.
And that had a lot of effect in terms of my performance, actually. And it also gave me, it pulled me back, because most times I was in a desperate state, and looking haggard, tired, red eyes, you know, lack of sleep, sleeping at the odd times, staying awake the whole night. Those are some of the hiccups I will face in terms of, as a result of the substances I was using. And of course, with that, with no employment and a student, then that means that the financial part is also becomes difficult. In the end, you have to start manipulating people, you have to start lying to people, you have to start borrowing. And at one point or another, I will end up thieving small amounts from home or relatives. But in the end, it will come out, and people found out that the trustful fella has lost it, and no one will trust me with anything from there. Yes.
Let's go to how it started. You had money in campus, like you just had money.
For there's a way I was working. I was staying at my uncle's place. So I will be, because I was honest, I'll be the one helping out in the shop. And of course, many people will see that your future is bright because you're in university. And as a result of that, they'll chip in cash. Or sometimes I will even do some work for people, and I'll get paid. So at that time, some small amount of money, yes, I had access to some small amounts of money. But my consumption increased. It increased from once a weekend to every day. At the start, I will only partake in the weekends. Then from there, every day was a weekend. From Monday to Sunday, I'll still be on one or two or substance. Actually, to be precise, I was high most of my adult life. From the time I was 18 to about 38, I was high.
Okay, let's take a short break. Hi, welcome back. I was just refilling my cup of coffee. So you were telling us how you had money from the small jobs that you were doing at home, but now your addiction yako ika increase. My first question is, was just drugs there? Like, was it lying around? Was it easy to get to it? How did how did you start your first, what did you take first?
I started eating Mira first because it was more available, and actually I wouldn't buy them in the initial stages because I'll find friends eating, then I'll join them. And I was like, sometimes I'll get it for free. But in the end, when I got hooked up, I had to find a way of buying them, and it was available, readily available. There were Mira kiosks around the estate.
You were at around how old?
I was about 19, going to 19. Yes.
So like you would chew from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like that?
Yes, mostly I'll chew over the weekends. Then on Monday I go back to class and do my thing.
You're good.
Yes.
At least then you're still.
I was still able to balance my life and the Mira eating. Yes.
So where did it get out of hand?
It got out of hand when I started now adding other things, like I'll smoke weed. I'll also drink once in a while, like over the weekends. Then, of course, the hangover will still be present on Monday.
I wanted to know you started drinking. Muslims don't drink.
Yes, the rightly put. And actually, I started drinking when I joined university. the first year, because it was looked down upon if you are drinking, and you are like considered, you are nobody, you are dead. And up to date, I think it is not something that is in the know. Most people do not know or do not understand. And I think what happens is most people will give you excuses and say his problem is mirror and weed. For alcohol, it's pushed under the carpet at most times. So
because of the religion.
Of the religion, yes.
And were you doing this at home?
Towards the end of it, I was openly drinking at home. Sometimes I'll be sometimes I'll come drunk, and other times, yes, I was doing it openly at the end of it.
Are you the only child?
No, I have from the same mother, three, to one younger sister, one younger brother, and an older brother. But my dad has a number of other kids from.
And are you the first born?
No, I'm the second born in that.
Okay, so your parents, how did they react to this? Seeing you drink openly, you are high all the time, they're paying fees and all.
The thing was that I told you I had qualified under scholarship, so the problem was that I felt entitled to whatever I do because they were not paying fees and all that. And for them, it was a good thing that this kid was bright enough to get his own fees. I think that was the weakest point of me, because I also felt that you guys don't have a responsibility towards me, so I can do as I wish. And they also felt that this young man is responsible enough, until when things were out of hand. I ended up being arrested after breaking into the hostels. Wow. So that is what brought my mom to Nairobi. She took me back to Wajir. And actually I stayed there for some time. I didn't come back to complete the university. And I stayed there for about 15 or so years before coming back to Nairobi.
They took you home?
I was taken home. My mom passed on when I was still high in 2011. But I guess she must be smiling down in heaven.
Looking at you and the whole process right now. So you said you started using sleeping pills.
Yes.
You got this from chemists, or someone was, peddling in school?
The funny thing is, I will get. I was someone who was street smart. So the problem, by the time I was getting hooked up to the sleeping pills, I'll get diazepam for 2 shillings a piece. So per day I'll consume about 10-20 pieces a day. 10 in the morning, 10 before I go to sleep.
Tablets?
Yes. Okay. I have 10 pieces, I'll show you. But I don't use them anymore.
You just pop and...
Yes.
So that you sleep. Okay, what is the high?
The high that I get from it is that, the body is tired, lack of sleep. So by the time I take, the body gets deceived that it had gone into sleep, and I feel slightly down. I don't feel like I'm overreacting. I don't feel like I'm losing it. So it calms me down. And through the interaction with the mirror and all that, I get into a feeling of being comfortable. I feel like I'm okay.
So basically, okay, because mirror makes you alert.
Yes.
And then now the sleeping pills.
The sleeping pills will calm me down, so that I don't realize that I have lost on sleep. Yes.
Okay, then the alcohol.
Then the alcohol will keep me in some level of feeling good. Also, then the weed will now calm me down. It will make me docile. So actually, I was a walking zombie in practicality. Yes.
At a state of your own.
I'm in a state of euphoria.
Wow.
Yes.
How is that feeling?
The feelings that sometimes I wouldn't feel pain. I'll knock myself on something and realize the following morning that my hand is swollen, my leg is bleeding.
What?
Yeah, the times, and I couldn't feel the pain. I don't realize. So it was a scary setting where you find you could lose your life any minute. And now realizing the fact that those sleeping pills could actually make me go to sleep and not wake up.
Anytime.
It was possible, yes, because of the amount I was using. Yes, it was possible.
And would you know what drove you to, the addiction? Like, what was pulling you, like, come take this, take this? You're not going through stress?
Initially, it was to have fun, but later on it was to hide my shame and guilt, to get away from the problems that, it was the only way out of the problems that I had put myself in. from the fact that dropping out of uni, going back to a village when everyone was looking at you to come back with something substance, then you come back as a village laughing stock, actually, in practical terms. That was also kind of drove me into a phase of depression. And then to handle the depression, you know, I'll have to get high again and also put myself in a way that I feel comfortable in my misery. In simple terms, I will make myself comfortable in my misery by clouding my thoughts, by clouding my fears, by clouding away everything that was sensible. And my thoughts were only on how do I shut out the world. Yes.
So in essence, there's no time that you are not trying to put something away. So you're just drilling.
I was putting curtains between me and reality. Yes, that is what I was doing every other second. And the best curtain that I knew was now these substances. Yes.
So you're like mixing the pills in alcohol?
No, I will swallow them.
Okay.
Then at times I will chew them using like sap through the mirror sap and all that.
Oh, like
then
the way
do njugu, yeah, exactly.
So you
yeah.
Wow, okay. Yeah. Wow. How was it, you know, friends in campus, how are they treating you then?
The funny part is it's friends in campus who actually paid for my treatment in rehabilitation. Yeah, so the high school friends, the ones we went to, someone disappears from your class in third year, then you realize after 10 years, where is that fellow? Then the conversation goes to another level. Let's get him out of where he is. Because one of them, one of them was also, we are from the same town. So, you end up like a beggar on the street, actually. So that is the same thing. Then he told guys, Abdullahi is in a bad shape. Yeah. Then that was when the hand of God worked through them. Yeah. And I was taken into rehabilitation at Eden Village, Likoni. I stayed there for 4 months. Mombasa, yes. I stayed there for 4 months and got well. From there, the funny thing is I got a job as a teacher in one of the high schools in Wajir. I taught for 2 terms, then I came back, and there was a semester I didn't do in uni, so I came back, did that semester. Wow. And from there I started a diploma in addiction counseling, completed, did a number of other certificate courses. And even today I'm doing a certificate course in clinical supervision in counseling, which will take me 5 years. Now I'm through with 2 months, just remaining with 3 more.
Okay.
So it's a good sign. Yeah.
Let me take you back kidogo before you going home. You said you broke into the hostels.
Yes.
You started like stealing from students.
I was, at one point I ended up, I didn't pay for my room. I was not at home, I was not in university. Okay. So I'll end up sleeping in any room that was not occupied. And anywhere. Sometimes I actually got a friend's room because I was staying there. I had the key, but the administration locked it. So I decided to break into that same room and sleep because I was high and in town.
Okay.
So I just broke into the door, slept. The security guys got me in the morning, bundled me into the vehicle, took me to Kilelosha police station. Yeah. And from there, actually, I was taken to industrial area where I stayed for about 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah, that was the worst point of my life.
You were never arrested before that day?
I had never been arrested before.
How did it feel being arrested for
it felt odd because you can't explain in a rational sense what took you to the same university you're a student to break and find somewhere to sleep, because there is no explanation for that unless you are insane. And for today I look at it as a moment of insanity as a result of substance use. So it is a point of reflection for me today, because I look at it and see, wow, how far down could it have taken me? Yeah. And I'm sure it was just one step from death. Yeah, it was just one step from death. What if guys came and just decided to bang me down to death? Yeah. And in university, mob justice was rife those days. So it was just one step from death, and I realized the danger I was also putting myself into. But maybe just share with you the number of times near death circumstances. There's a time I was so high I just slept on Uhuru Highway.
Like the road.
Like the road, I will just sleep and then look up the sky. You know, I'm that high, I don't
Kwa
even
lami
know.
hivi.
Kwa lami, then a bus driver comes by, he looks at me and says, this is one of the drunk university students. So those are some of the things. Walking on River Road at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning.
And you were never mugged?
I was mugged once, but you know, the only thing you get is some small amounts of money. Those days, I think we didn't have phones, so
Okay.
I'm okay. But you know, there are other dangers that could happen.
course.
Yeah, you
River
could
Road,
be
you would have been
beaten,
killed,
stabbed.
you know, yeah.
Yeah. So the number of such death circumstances I put myself into were a lot. Also, the kind of substances I was using, you know, I will end up losing anytime you going crazy, which I almost did. I almost lost it, and I think it's, if I'd stayed out for 1 more month, I think I'll have lost it. Maybe I'll have been the kind of people collecting. I was not far from it, collecting the trash on the roads and all that. And I think the most important lesson for me I've learned is that it depends on my next action. It's not about how I see other people. It's not, because I didn't think at one point that I will be able to stay. My problems were too many. So without the substances, my problems were too many. I didn't think that I could.
So it's either you're high or
you are high or you die. So I didn't realize that I could stay without substances and be normal. And the comment I get from many people is, you've used your pain to learn from it. And it's true, I've used my pain to learn for it. And I intend using the same pain that taught me to help others get a grip of their own lives, be able to do something for themselves. And
so let's go to industrial area where now everything changed. How was it being in the cell and now you are not able to access the drugs that you used to?
I actually, the only thing I was able to get was 1 or 2 cigarettes, because drugs were available but expensive in the cells. I didn't have the money, so the thing was, it was still available. Weed was available. So it's available. So I think I got a puff or two once in a while, but you know, it was also possible to get beaten in there. So I will avoid. But it was an eye opener for me, because I saw the desperation in that, and I saw that you know, I was a softie in essence, because the people who were there were hardened, street smart and hardened. So you can expect what will happen to me. And it's only luck that I was rescued after 2 weeks and taken home, but things will have been different. And from the prison environment, you know what it does to people. I was going to have it rough, I know.
Being a softie, then you're also weak and all that. Ungetumiwa vibaya.
Sure.
Okay, so let's take a short break, and then after this tumalizie. So welcome back. Your story, it's captivating. It's doing a lot to me right now. So tell me, what was your turning point after this position where now uko jela, you're getting this kidogo kidogo puffs and everything, and then your parents are here to pick you from jail? You tell us about that.
For me, I think the embarrassment of it all was enough to make me want to do something. But what happened is that I was actually taken to Wajir. I didn't stop. I continued using substances. And after some time, the desperation was evident. Initially, you know, I will get some small amounts of money from home and all that. But at the end of the day, my parents were not in good financial situation. They could not afford the lifestyle that I was living. So it happened that I kept on deteriorating in terms of how I looked, how I dressed, and in terms of how well I took care of myself, to an extent that I will just be walking in the hot sun, high, almost all the day, and I'll be in slippers, walking around town. dirty, looking desperate. Everyone knows that guy is from university and now this is how he is. This is how
So
his
like
life has turned.
University is like this.
Yes, and the same people who were in class, finished, completed in university, came back to work in the same environment. They're riding nice cars and all that, and the best they can do is stop and buy you a can of water and maybe give you a small handout, but the pain of it was evident. And I think by the time I was getting into treatment, I just needed some way of getting out of it. I reached a level of surrender, complete surrender, where I know I'm not going any further. This is going to kill me. And opportunity came for me to get into rehab through the courtesy of a number of friends, and I didn't look back from then. But the pain of the addiction, the sorrow, the desperation, the rejection by everyone, and the feelings that you're inadequate in terms of what were my life's goals, how far am I? I was far from where I'd figured myself to be. And I guess my life now is not filled with regrets. It's filled with a lot of optimism. And I'm using the lesson that my life was to be able to help others. That is the result why I started up Infinite Hope. The name itself is suggestive in terms of...
Just before we go to Infinite, where did you go yourself, the rehab? And how was the treatment for you?
I went into Eden Likoni, where I worked also for some time up to about 2 months ago.
How was the whole,
my experience in rehab was, I guess it was more welcoming than the street that I was used to and the harsh realities. For a long time, like 15 years, I didn't have a good night's sleep. I was not able to, it was hard for me to find, I will hear voices.
Also, you're in bed, but...
I'll hear voices. And that is why I was taking all the prescription medications to calm me down. And sometimes I will close all the windows or put a curtain and hide myself from the reality, because I was hallucinating most of the time.
The withdrawals.
Yes, the withdrawals, or even when I'm using, I'll end up with hallucinating. And for me, I think the biggest point was when I saw the pain I was putting my parents and everyone around me, especially my mom. She passed on when I was still high, but I could tell, I could feel the pain I was putting her through. I could also feel the level of care that she had to put for me. She felt this guy is gonna die or something, and now I can feel the pain she must have been through. But the weakest point for me was when I ended up like being the village laughing stock. From the guy kids look up to the guy who is the village laughing stock. That was the turning point for me.
Like
the most useless human person you can find around that point. And I guess I'm not ashamed that it happened so, because it is what now they say the weakest point, if used well, you can use it to make the strongest foundation. And I guess I'm using that to build the strongest foundation for my life now. Yes.
Wow, knew your story. So now tumefika hapa where now you're just leaving rehab and all that. So what were your plans after rehab? Umefungiwa, now you're doing good. Then what?
For me, after rehab, I think I was set up. I was set out that I was not going to be in that same position again. I understand that it happens, that it may not be possible for someone to have long-term sobriety, but for me, the level I had reached is there was no point of return. If I got out of it, there was no thinking again. Most times I will think of the pain and realize that I can't take it one more day. The pain of addiction for me was too much. I couldn't take it one more day. And I didn't have any further options, actually. For me, I think that was a chance that came once and it will never come again. Getting into rehab for me was a chance. It was not like something I will want to happen again and again. And I think the way the people who were handling me at the rehab treated me also gave me a lot of encouragement, a lot of support, and a lot of focus into what my life can be. Now understanding my understanding of it is remove the substance, give the person something credible to do. For me, I was ready to start at any point to build back my life. I was ready to start at any point, and I started at where I could. And I kept on building on, doing just in simple language, being a better person than I was yesterday. That was my goal from then, to be a better person than I was yesterday. I kept on doing what was right for me, and I kept on following the suggestions that I was given by these people. I kept on also focusing on the good side of life, because most parts what was making me use again was the fear of challenges in life, the fear of the unknown. I'm not sure what tomorrow will bring. And it's true, from rehab I didn't have anything. I went into rehab with just the clothes I had on my back.
It's like going to prison.
I just went the same way. How I came back is now different. I came back when I was focused. I came back when I was still ishy about whether things will change, whether things will be better. But at the end of the day, I knew I was not ready to start back where I was. That I had decided, yes, it's a decision that I made. And I guess that's what they say, acceptance, that this is what it is. So the way I get out of it is what I put into use. Yes.
Okay. So this is where now you decided, are you going back to school? Are you going back home? Mama, you're starting now, whatever we have here.
I went back to school. I had 1 semester to clear at uni. I went back, completed that semester, and I did away with the papers, and I am writing to the university to put me in the graduation this year, which they will agree. And I did a diploma in addiction counseling. From there I went back to school actually, and I also went back into working as a addiction counselor in the same rehab that I was in. And I think that was it also helped me stay sober more, because I was around people. The newcomer will encourage me to be, and I'll look back at people and see that is me a number of hours back. So what is the difference between me and that individual? The difference between me and the desperation is one more drink. So I always kept that at the back of my head, and that is how I kept on fighting till today. I guess also it's as a result of the encouragement, the good words I was getting. You're doing a good thing for yourself. Yes. I had a very supportive group of friends, and for my family was also supportive, but mostly I was with friends. So, and most of the times I was working at a friend's rehab, so it was also a plus. Yes.
And did you ever feel like going back ever? Even going back to the same environment where you started? Did it ever tempt you?
Yes. I went back to the same surroundings and people, but I saw it in a different light. I saw it in the light that this is where I was. If I can make it out of this position, anyone else can do it. And I guess that is why most of the times I talk about second chances. You get a second chance, pick it and run with it. Yes.
Okay. Wow, so tell us the whole Infinite idea.
This has been an idea for like 2 years now. I started working on this idea 2 years ago, and I had the experience to run a center, but I had to now find out, how do I capitalize it? How do I put it into view? So after consultation with a number of friends and family, 1 or 2 people chipped in and helped me set up the initial infrastructure, getting a building, doing this and all that. But for me, it is about what do I bring on the table? For me, what I bring on the table is hope, and that is possibility. As the name suggests, infinite hope, endless hope. Endless hope that you can come from nowhere. You can come from desperation to optimism, from desperation to hope. And ideally, hope is the backbone of anyone in recovery. Because once you lose that, you lose trust in yourself, you lose trust in everyone around you, and the only thing you'll trust is the substance. So I keep on asking people never to shut down on hope, and always be forefront in trying to get a solution. Because the solution will come from you. No one else will recover for you.
Yeah.
It is you who will recover, and the decision has to come from you. Others will give you the infrastructure, others will give you the support, but the decision has to come from within you. As I told you earlier, I think my desperation was the decision, because I saw that this was not where I wanted to be, and this is not something you'll wish upon your worst enemy. For me, that's addiction is something you'll not wish upon your worst enemy. And for me, what I know is there is a way out. It is not a must that you still cling on to being using the substances to help you overcome your problems. There is a way out. There is hope. There is light. There is, you can see it from me that there is second chances will come. Yes, and life has to go on. But not many people are lucky to come out of it. Many of my friends have died. I understand that, and I'm always grateful that I wake up another day. The things that I took for granted, like waking up a day without a hangover, waking up a day without having to think about your problems, what next, waking up a day knowing that I knew exactly what time I went to sleep. I knew where I was this time of the day, because most times when in my using days, I'll find that I will remember up to some points. The rest will be vague. It will just be like a dream. Sometimes I will end up, I remember there's a day I was hanging on the door of a bus.
You slept?
No, like I was so high, I was just holding that, and someone had to hold me to stay on it because I was very drunk. Actually, it was the university bus. So those are some of the things. Times blacking out in front of absolute places where there is danger. Those are some of the dangers I was putting myself. But the main lesson, the main thing that Infinite Hope is about is that there is a way out, and that there is hope for every person who is suffering from substance use disorder.
So this particular place here right now is where, okay, people don't really understand about rehabs. When you hear rehab, you're thinking, huyu ni mtu amechizi, huyu ni mtu amefika mwisho, you know. Maybe just let people know what rehabilitation is all about.
For in most of our communities, not just this local community, the Ma community, even where I come from, the Somali community, they see addiction or substance use as a curse. They see it as a choice, and people end up castigating the individual and like looking for a way of punishing them for their moral decadence. Actually, that's what it will be put as. But for me, I see addiction as any other disease. It's a disease like someone with diabetes. If he maintains a healthy lifestyle, he will be okay. Someone who has blood pressure, if he watches out, he will be okay. For the addict, the best option will be abstinence. And the stigma around recovery and rehabilitation is evident. Most people think that rehabilitation is for people who are crazy. Watu wazimu in common terms. But addiction is like any other disease. This is now a way of giving people change from the maladaptive behavior to an adaptive behavior, or from bad behavior as it is put to a good way of life. Because the addiction itself is a manifestation of an underlying issue. Most people resort to addiction as a result of stress, as a result of marital problems, as a result of family relationships, as a result of financial crisis. So if we can give people options about how to face the issues, solve their problems, we become problem solvers, not hiding behind a curtain to get out of our problems, then I see many people recovering from the disease of addiction. I'll encourage our communities also to embrace treatment in terms of rehabilitation. The psychosocial kind of approach which we use here is evidence-based and has been known to help many people. The common myth around rehabilitation is it is for people who have lost hope in life. It is not. It is people who are asking for help. They cry for help. So given a chance, many people will regain back their life and be productive and acceptable members of the society. Yes.
So if I'm watching out there and I'm at that position where you are at some point, how do I reach out?
You can reach me out on mobile number 0791002051. You can also reach me on web www.infinitehope.or.ke. You can also reach me on Facebook, Infinity Hope, and I'm working on many other ways of reaching. But for most, if you need help and you are in this area, you can always call me. I'll be happy to meet you and chat the way forward.
Yeah, and maybe someone doesn't understand that it is a private thing. You know, maybe people wanafikiria ukienda tu rehab siri zako zote, your issues zinanikwa, things like that.
What we pride on ourselves is that part of confidentiality.
Yeah.
As an addiction counselor, the first and most important aspect of it is putting across to the individual that whatever we discuss is not to put them in a weaker position, but to give them a way of facing it in a better way, and that everything that we say is documented and is in confidence. It cannot be used against them in any way unless by ethical standards I'm allowed to divulge this information as a result of the individual either hurting himself or going to hurt other people, which is also covered in the ethics of the profession.
Yeah. Oh wow. To know, first there is substance that is prescribed, and so an illegal na illegal. Yeah. How what do you think should be done? You know, to just how is it done? Like.
For most parts, the prescription medication addiction is also a common phenomenon, and what happens is it is controlled by the Pharmacies and Poisons Act. But the issue at hand is that addicts will always find a way of getting these prescription medications. And in my opinion, the government should put up standards so that individuals do not have access to prescription medications as easily available as other substances that are illegal in terms of the law. Alcohol is also a substance that is legal to sell, but I think selling it to an underage individual will make it illegal, and the government should find a way of instituting measures to avoid such occurrences. We've been in the news media seeing people, the way crackdowns have been conducted, but still we have challenges of, an addict will always find a way, come what may, they'll find a way of getting the substances. At the end of the day, what is important is we give the addict the rightful information in terms of the damages that these substances are doing to them, and more of a reduction in demand for the substances, rather than looking at clamping down on individuals who use substances. Let's cut down on the demand by giving the rightful information, the right information to these people at the age where people pick. Give them the information. Informing them that of the dangers does not mean that you're encouraging them to find out or experiment on the drugs. Information in terms of the effects of substances is of a lot of use, and it makes the individuals empowered to make rightful decisions in terms of using or not using the substances. Yes.
You are one of a successful story that so far I've seen with rehabilitation. What happens when you relapse?
Yeah, for example, you talk about a lapse and a relapse. For people, when you are by the time you are done with your rehabilitation, the last thing you'll do is talk about your exit plan and relapse prevention. Relapse means the individual reverting back to using substances, whether it's alcohol, whether it's marijuana, or whether it is whatever substance the individual is using. So most times I encourage people to avoid what triggers are there, what leads you to using, and avoid people, places, things, situations that you are familiar with. Because at the end of the day, if you take yourself to where you were using, they say if you go back, sit in front of the barber shop for long, chances are that you may get shaved. So the one of the best things to do is to make a change of where you are, what your places, the people. Get a change of friendships. The friendships will encourage you to use, avoid them, and find a way of going around the substance abuse. But if it happens that you end up relapsing, the next best thing is to do is to start back afresh. Make the decision to stop use again. because it happens if you keep on using, you'll end up at the same level you are, the same level of desperation, the same levels of stresses as a result of the substances. So I will encourage the person to talk about it, seek help, find someone they can confide in, and actually try and work out the issue, because relapse is real, it happens to people, but what is important is how you face it. Ask for help, genuine help, ask for help, and you will find it. For the individual who is also in recovery, I'll encourage that person to keep on avoiding the situations that that may lead you to using. Yes.
Oh wow, so this has been a very good sitting for me. I've learned a lot actually about addiction, so I believe you're going to make change here, and this is a really good place. For those that have not heard where it is, it's located at Muigai, Kitengela, Muigai Estate, around 100 meters from the tarmac. So the number just down there, you can call him anytime. He's free. You want to reach out on his social media pages, so he's giving you all you need, and we'll leave that information in the description box. So just feel free, reach out and seek for the help that you need. And I've also learned it's not a place of shame, it is a place of growth. That is what I've learned with you.
Sure.
And congratulations for you've told me you count in hours.
Yes.
Yeah, so you are how many hours?
6 years and 3 months and some hours sober.
Yeah, sober.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a very big step. And congratulations, and you're going to make change here.
Thank
so Nkaulele is taking a small tour kidogo tuone how it is, and then so guys, we're taking a small tour around here in Village Home. We want to see how the facility looks. So I ran into this very tall young man. Yeah, you already roughing me. So what area is this?
This is a classroom.
Okay. Let me ask you. People wonder, Deofike Mali, you have to go to a rehab center.
Yes.
Because I'm seeing you're young and all.
Yes.
And you're already a counselor.
Yes.
At what point, as an addict, do I know it's time for me to, reach out for help and, go for counseling?
Okay. According to my understanding, a person will actually know that they have to go to rehab when they are unable to control what they are using. You see, you have the free will to choose and to do what you want to do. But you see, when something overpowers your will, right now you are unable to control yourself. That's the point. This is our kitchen.
Nice, okay.
This is where we Kitengela our food.
So this is where, once I'm coming to infinite, yes.
We register you for here before we proceed.
All right.
Yeah, so here is where you get your intake.
Yeah.
Up and kila kitu begins. This is what we say the beginning of healing. So this is the first room.
Yeah.
Let me say this. Once you are in recovery or you are in addiction, the number one thing you need to be very comfortable. Because once you start getting assistance, you see now the body is minus what you are using. So you'll be affected psychologically. So we must make sure that you are very, very comfortable.
We are
very comfortable. So
each individual one room.
One room. That's where we are starting first.
But
as we progress, we would like to add a few things here and there, so that people can get professional, good quality help.
It's nice. It's cozy.
Yeah.
So your room, you have your mirror, your wardrobes, and all that. And
where you place your things, everything. Kuna kila mtu akwe na kitu yake, weke vizuri. So we can proceed to the next.
Okay. So like the bathroom, pia ni yako.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So like
Okay, come. Alafu you see after a few ukishatoka hapo unaweza kuja tu hapa kukimbia.
Nice.
You relax here.
Uko na balcony na view.
Una view yako tu pole pole. And so that usisikie umefungiwa sana. Usaidiwe.
Okay.
So we can proceed to the next room. This is also another room.
Okay.
We are trying our level best. Very nice, warm.
Kikaa
chini unasikia
poa.
Unasikia uko. It's home far away from this majorly area. It's not a place where when I was in. No. Actually, let me say this. I know very many people who are doctors, teachers, are pilots. I know of a pilot who was in rehab.
Wow.
Yes, he was just and he decided to seek help.
Okay. So by the addiction, personally, when you hear about addiction, it's scary. There's a lot of withdrawal. Kuna vitu mobs ina happen. How do people treat addicts out there? Do you think like us, the other people that are not addicts, how do you feel like they treat the addicts well out there?
No. They don't treat addicts well because we say that alcoholism is the only disease that is locked from the inside. You see, the rest of the diseases, there's nobody mwenye ataipigwa kwa sababu akona cancer.
Yeah.
You cannot wear mbona ukona cancer, wewe mbona ukona nini. But you see, when somebody is suffering from alcoholism, they always wewe ndio umejipeleka. But people right now, it's high time people should realize that alcoholism is a disease. It is a disease. Depression is a disease. Alcoholism as well is a disease. Also, addiction is a disease. That it's locked from the inside. Because the only problem is wewe ndio unajipeleka. But kujitoa, you also need the same people, the same effort of self-care. So there's a lot of stigma when it comes to
how people are treated. So you are a counselor?
Yes, I'm a counselor. I'm counseling, psychological counselor. Also an addiction counselor.
Okay.
Helping very many people deal with their problems when it comes to social life, their choice of their lifestyle, and also in addiction.
Okay. And how is it so far? How is it taking you?
It's tough, but it has a lot of exposure. You get to learn a lot of things. We are taught that we should be empathetic more than being sympathetic.
Yes.
Empathetic in the fact that you need to put yourself in the shoes of the person who's suffering and see how you can help him through your own experiences.
Hapa ni wapi?
So this is our store, where we have
extras.
As I told you, we need to add a little bit of few things. So these are the new mattresses.
It's good. You know, when you have extra like this, it means your projections are high, and that is good.
Yes.
You know, you're really willing to help.
We have a very huge vision.
It will be done. This is nice.
So we can proceed to the last one.
So far, this particular place in accommodate how many people?
As for now, it can be 10 plus.
Oh.
Yeah. This is our last room, but this room, we want to make it to be our counselor's room.
Okay.
Where counselor mwenye anatoka mbali kama asipate mali ya kurudi, he can sleep here. As you can see, we are also trying to keep the counselors comfortable.
So it's like now going to practically boarding school. So kuna matron, then there's someone who's taking care of them at all the whole time. So you're not alone the whole process.
Because addiction is a very what can you say? It's a very delicate thing to handle. So you need a counselor who's around all the time because of the withdrawals the person will undergo, the hallucinations. A counselor must be there, and professional one who can be able to deal with the person being there, how they are progressing.
How is it working with your director?
It's very
How is he like right now at work and everything?
I can actually say we understand each other because you see, we're in the same field. So he's a very good guy. He's professional. And he understands what he's doing. I know very soon we'll be in a good place.
He looks like a very cool guy. And I'm happy, you know, the steps he's making. You know, and also it's good that people know he's someone you can interact with because he's gone through all this. And
It's true.
What advice would you give to people that are mistreating or treating the addicts, badly and all that?
That question is a very good question because very many people are undergoing hardships because of the stigma and the vile wanatritiwa na watu wao because of the addictions that wameingia. Let me say this. Addiction is a disease. And it is said that we have a factor called X factor that makes us allergic to these substances. And you see, the way there are people who are allergic to dust, people who are allergic to oil. It's the same way someone is allergic to alcohol. Not every one of us can drink. Some, kuna mwenye atakunywa imweze, kuna mwenye atakunywa kwa sawa. And there are three types of people there. We have the alcoholics, we have the social drinkers, and we have a binge drinker. And they are different. These are different types of people. So once the person engages in drinking and itakuja imweze, people really discriminate them. That wewe ndio unaingia kwa hii nini?
Kama uwezi waacha.
Kama uwezi sasa huyu anajiweka kwa hii nini? Huyu sasa wana huyu. But they really don't know that it is a disease. Our sudi ni ugonjwa. Na ni ugonjwa wa akili. For sure. It is. And so people need to now realize that this is a disease. And people need help, professional help, wale wenye wanataka kusaidia.
You also have to want.
Yes, you also have to want. You need, we call them three things. There's honesty, where you need to be honest with yourself that I need help. There's open-mindedness, the possibility of getting help, and there's the willingness.
Umesema possibility kama sasa.
Nakwambia sasa yangu inakataanga kutoka.
Yes, okay.
You leave me the mzito ama ndio socks.
So number 3 is
the number 3 is willingness.
Okay.
They need to be willing to be helped.
Yeah.
So this goes to parents and guardians, we can call them sponsors, that once ukipata mtu wako kwa madawa sana, do not need them, but try and help them to come out of it. Do not discriminate them, because these guys go through a lot. A lot. And it's better for you to help them professionally. Don't cast them too. People get cast with these things, and it's very bad. It's very wrong. And do not also take harsh judgments or harsh treatments to them. It causes a lot of psychological problems. Unapata mtu anafanyiwa kitu kingine yenye it's out of this world. Hadi akikuja kuambia story unasikia vibaya. Because of a simple thing. Hakuna kipimo cha dhambi.
Hey, nice one. Oh wow. Solo, thank you for the tour. This is an amazing place. And I'm happy that you're doing something, to help people out there. So mnafanya kazi nzuri sana. Mimi nimeona nimeandaliwa ugali. So nataka kunawa, nikule chakula kabisa. Kiruia style.
Yes.
Bas.
Nakwambia ile design pia mimi kujiangalia.
Hiyo ugali.
Yes.
Huko pia mnaangalia hii maneno ya tumbo vizuri kabisa. So guys, this has been an amazing time for me. I've learned a lot, and I hope you have learned as well. So let's face this thing and let's help each other out here in our communities, locally and away. There is help out there, and second chances do work. It's up to you. Admit, accept, and make the change. Until next time, this has been Nkaulele. As usual, mtu wako Nasha. Keep it safe.